Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the Holistic Me podcast, A Journey to Finding Wellness Within. I'm your host, Jessica Bravo, and today is part two of our mini series discussing the 8 branches of classical Chinese medicine. So today's topic is movement, right? And specifically mindful movement. That is really what this category is all about, and moving our body in a way that is with intention and very mindful in its approach. All right. So I'm just going to get right to it. And hopefully, this will serve as a guide for you on how to proceed with your choices as far as potential exercise is concerned, or shifting your mindset around exercise and moving your body, moving your energy. Okay, so this is an exercise category. I label it under movement, which is one of the ways that it is labeled. But exercise falls within this category. Okay, and so from a traditional standpoint, the types of things that would fall in line with movement are Qigong, which is pretty much the overarching umbrella of this practice. Okay. Then Tai Chi, right? Yoga would fall into this category. But within all of those, within Qigong, there's various types of movement practices that can be done, right? As well as breathwork practices and all that, which I talk about with Lindsay in part one of this mini series last week. And so what I'm trying to say is there's much to it. Even though it's just got the one name, there's a lot to it, just like with yoga, right? There's many different styles of yoga. There's different styles of Tai Chi, and Tai Chi falls under the Qigong umbrella. But again, there's many types of different versions or exercises and versions of within. Okay. Now, I also place into those categories, which are, more modern in their approach or categorization, I suppose, is any other types of exercise as long as you're doing it with intention and mindfully, right? So this can be your walk, your run, your body weight exercises that you do at the gym, your weighted exercises, your classes, whatever it might be that falls into movement and exercise, it can be done in this way. Okay, you can do any exercise mindfully. And honestly, as someone with a sports medicine background, okay, that is my undergraduate is in sports medicine, athletic training, and I'm also a certified personal trainer. Um, with that being part of my educational history, along with this Chinese medicine training, I understand the importance now of not just going to the gym and just going through the motions of like lifting weights or doing calisthenics, whatever exercises you choose, getting on the treadmill, getting on the elliptical bike, whatever your choice, the rowing machine. If we do not focus or set an intention for ourselves when we begin, and then have a mindful focus to what we're doing, then sure, we're getting our blood pumping, right? Blood is circulating. We could get stronger. We can see results. But I can tell you that it's so much more powerful to our body and the way that it responds in its repair process, as well as in its um, response time with training and getting stronger and healthier, that it's so much more powerful when we implement an intention and a mindful focus to what we do. All right. So it's all about moving mindfully, understanding or making the connection to our physical bodies, because we are all our system is one. There isn't a separation of mind, muscle, organs. It's all connected. So it's all one system, right? So every time that we make a decision to move, if we do it with mindfulness behind it and with an intention, then our body will respond in kind and move in a way that is going to perform better, right? Think about the times if you've ever played sports, right? That when you actually focus on what you were doing and didn't just go through the process of practice, um, that you actually did really well, right? And you were almost impressed with yourself. I know I was when I actually like took the time to really hone in on how my body was moving when I was on the court. I played tennis for many, many years. Um, and I just know that it makes such a difference even now as an adult and in my movements and exercises that I've chosen to do after understanding this. It's made a huge difference. Even when I take time off, right, where I'm not doing as much exercising, right? I'm still moving my body just in more non-traditional ways, um, as far as, from our society standpoint. Um, but I am still moving my body. I'm shaking my body out. I'm getting in touch with my body. I'm feeling the sensations that I have when I hold tension and releasing it, stretching. Stretching falls into this category. It doesn't have to be exercise like, in and of itself, right? When we think of like getting sweaty and like burning calories, stretching falls into this movement category as well. So, um, just as right, yoga, although yoga can can get you nice and sweaty too. So, um, let's see, where was I? Where was I going with this? um, it's it's an attitude or an approach to moving your body that then allows your body to move in a way that feels good, move in a way that is effective, move in a way that's efficient. And then also, when it comes to if you are doing some sort of training, right, where you're lifting weights, whether it be body weight or actual free weights, machine weights, anything like that, even running, walking, things that will cause those micro tears in the muscles that allow for muscle growth, all of those things. When it comes time to that repair and growth, the body will respond so much better. There's going to be less soreness. There's going to be, and if there is soreness, it's going to kind of resolve or release faster. Not sure if that's the right way to phrase it, but uh, because our body is functioning at a higher level when we do this. Okay. So, all this to say, when you decide to do whatever movement practice or exercise practice, set an intention. And the intention could simply be I'm going to focus on this exercise for, say, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the time frame might be. I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to pay attention to what my body feels and how my body moves. Okay. And then while you're doing the exercise, then keep that intention in mind. Don't just like willy nilly like go route in doing the movements, right? Really focus and feel, where do you feel the stretch? Where do you feel the tension when you flex a muscle, or where does the energy transition to when you move your arm in a certain way? How is it moving through the the body chain, right? Up the arm into the torso, down the leg. Where's the connection happening? And then you will start to make more and more connections with your own body so that when you have physical manifestations or um, have other things that come up physically within your body, you can recognize it, right? you can say, hey, this feels different. Something's up, right? That's part of one of the reasons behind this. There's so many benefits to moving in this way. But truly, in my opinion, it's knowing your body, knowing what's normal for you, right? Because my normal is not your normal. From a Chinese medicine standpoint, right? We have what we consider to fall within normal spectrum, right, of a healthy state, um, which is different from the Western medicine belief system of what is considered normal and healthy. Uh, but your experience of how your body feels when it's good, when it's in a good, healthy state, right? The way that you feel within your body is going to be different than the way I feel within my body. And therefore, when I notice things come up, I can say, okay, I have this tension in my back. What's it from? Is it postural? Is it because I moved something earlier, picked something up earlier that I wasn't mindful in the way I picked it up? Or uh, is it from something yesterday? Is it an activity? Is it stress induced? Is it more stuck energy? Do I need to move in a certain way to release it? And usually I will feel it internally, like, okay, I need to stretch this. This is something that I need to stretch. This is something I need to roll on, apply pressure points to, and release that stuck energy that's in my body. Maybe do some shaking, do some popcorn hands, some bouncing, whatever the case might be, to release it. And usually that really helps and that works. Now, if other things feel stuck and you feel the need that it needs further movement or more aggressive um, approach, then you can address it that way as well. Now, one thing I will say, some of us are more prone to wanting more aggressive style movements, right? Like the HIIT type exercises, right? High intensity interval training, um, the triathletes of the world, or um, the Spartan races, all of these things. And then those of us that are more drawn to the softer side of movement, right? The yoga, Tai Chi, the Qigong, things like that. It's a difference that really just is about preference, right? When you decide what feels good for your body. Some of us need to move in these more aggressive forms of exercise to get more energy moving, right? And it feels good to our body. And then there's times, and you could be the same person that tends to like the high intensity trainings, but then switches over to the yoga, right? You might alternate your trainings, and that's great. The Then those of us that just prefer the more gentler movements or the more focused training that maybe isn't high intensity, um, still doing lifting or other forms of training, but without the high intensity, right? So, what I want to add about that is that you have to listen to what your body needs in the moment, right? If we push through when we don't have the energy, right, to do these higher intensity types of work, then it can cause more damage than good, right? Although the focus will help, the intention will help, but if your system is drained and not able to function at a higher level, then it's not going to be productive, right? And over time can cause injury. So here's my 2 cents. Do what feels good for your body. If moving in a high intensity way feels good, do that. Get that energy moving. It's what you need. If it doesn't feel good, don't do that, right? I personally, if you've signed up for a class, sure, it feels good to follow through. And I'm not saying use this use this as a reason to kind of give up on something, right? But simply recognize when your body needs to move differently and still move your body. Just move it in a different way, right? If the high intensity on a particular day is not feeling good, not feeling in alignment with you and your body physically and energetically, switch it up. Still move. Still do the work, right? Because it is helpful when we move our body. It does help our mental state. It's all connected, right? We want to get that energy moving no matter what the form is, no matter what style of movement we're engaging in. But being mindful of that and making the adjustments necessary, it will be much more effective for your system if you take the time to move in these different ways that feel good. Doesn't mean you have to move in high intensity all the time. Doesn't mean you have to move in the softer forms of movement all the time, right? It's identifying and being in tune with your physical body in order to create the best relationship to your body and to understand your body and how it moves, how it holds tension, how how it feels when energy is stuck, how it feels when energy is moving freely. Hmm. And to use that information to decide on how to move through life, right? To understand that when things come up within our body, it's for a reason. Our body is always speaking to us, right? Our body, mind, and soul are always trying to cue us in to what's going on inside. And it's up to us to listen. And when we don't listen, right, when we engage in these practices of just going through the motions of doing certain exercise classes or whatever the case might be, um, without paying attention and listening, then there's the potential for injury, there's the potential for overuse, there's the potential for other things coming up. And then on the other side of that, without even considering exercise, right? When things come up in our life, other health concerns, right? Or stressors, and we're not listening to the cues that our body is giving us that something's wrong or that we need to make a change, then eventually over time, the body needs to get louder. It wants you to listen. Are you listening? Um, you wouldn't believe the amount of times where I ask patients a question related to the pain that they're experiencing or the health concern that they want to address, and not knowing where they feel it in their body, or not having an understanding or a connection of when they do X, Y happens. Um, like not making the connections to things. And that's because as a society as a whole, we're we think of ourselves as separate parts. We think of everything being compartmentalized within this Western model, right? when in fact it's a whole. And so my my belief, my recommendation, my understanding, my knowledge within this is really just to share the importance of tuning in, setting an intention for how our body moves, being mindful of how our body moves, and with time, a greater understanding of our bodies, right, individually, giving us, giving each of us the ability to hone in on our own system and really, truly be the authority on ourselves, right? And the same goes for part one, right? When we implement these practices, we become the authority on ourselves. We know us better than anyone. Sure, Western medicine has its place. Doctors have their place. Your primary care has its place. The emergency room has its place. They have a purpose and they serve a great purpose within our system, within our society, right? But to know your body and to know yourself allows you so much more control over the state of not only your health, but in the way in which you seek care. And knowing, excuse me, knowing your body and knowing yourself allows you to make the appropriate decisions because you understand what your body truly needs. Okay. And that goes with having conversations with your doctors or practitioners, holistic practitioners. You know you better than I know you, right? You tell me your story, you tell me your health history, and I can identify where I can be of service and help you. But you're still the one providing the answers. And I'm doing my part in listening not only to the words you're saying, but listening to what your body is telling me in the work that I do. That's all I got. I don't know if I went off on a tangent there or not, but I hope this was helpful. All right, and I'm gonna get going before my little guy freaks out. It is officially morning, sun is almost up, so I'm going to sign off now. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to our next mini series episode, which should be next Friday, but stay tuned for all the upcoming episodes through next week. We've got new topic for Monday. We've got Wellness Wednesday live Q&A, which will happen on Wednesday. So check all the links in the description or show notes, and I will connect with you and see you again soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend ahead. I love you and appreciate all of you. Have an awesome day.